Welcome to everyone. Today we have a privilege to have Leoh, or I personally call him Hin Han, with us on this session. Let me read out his profile. Leoh is a member of Insolvency Practitioners Association of Malaysia, Australian Certified Practicing Accountant, and holds a Bachelor of Business from University of Technology, Sydney, Australia. He has over 12 years of experiences in auditing and insolvency services segments of professional accounting firms. Today, Leoh is our Associate Director from the Restructuring Insolvency Division. Let me invite today's speaker to you, Leoh Hin Han, onto this virtual stage. Hi, hello Hin Han. Hin Han, thank you for agreeing to join us for Instagram live session today. Leoh, my first question to you, can you please tell us about yourself and generally what kind of work your department does?
Okay, first of all, hello everyone. Thank you, Siu Fong, for the kind gesture, and thank you, video. Okay, my name is Leoh. I am from Malacca, but I've been in KL since I was 10 years old with my family. Okay, as mentioned by Siu Fong, I joined video in year 2009. Time flies. Okay, and maybe a bit of ice breaking. I give you a fun fact of myself. Most of my colleagues know me as Leoh, but Leoh is not my English name. It's actually my surname. And this surname of mine is actually a mistake by my grandfather. Okay, my grandfather, the spelling of his surname is supposed to be L-I-O-W, Leoh. But when my father was born, my grandfather mistakenly registered his surname as Leoh. So I do not know why, but I got no choice but to follow my father. So my surname has become Leoh, which is not same as all the other siblings of my dad lah. Okay, so that's a little bit of fun fact. Okay, so let me continue. Since I've joined, I've been in the Insolvency and Restructuring department. And I think most of you may not heard of this department because it's not as common as, say, tax, audit, or corporate finance. Okay, so I'm going to intro to you what we actually do in this department. Okay, we are involved in various kinds of advisory engagement, but for the purpose of this sharing session, I will just focus on the three most common ones. Okay. The first type of engagement we normally involve in company liquidation. Okay, a lot of people actually ask me whether liquidation and bankruptcy are they the same. Effectively, they have the same meaning, but the difference is the term of bankruptcy is normally applies to individual, where liquidation is for companies. So for companies, we call it company in liquidation and not bankruptcy. Okay, so when will a company be placed under liquidation? A company will be placed under liquidation when it is deemed to unable to pay its debt when it's due. Means when your debt is due, you got no money to pay people. Okay, then people may place you into liquidation. So there are two types of liquidation per se. The first one is called voluntary liquidation. Voluntary liquidation is where a company felt that by continuing their business, they still cannot fully settle their debt and they don't have a turnaround plan. So they voluntarily put the company under liquidation. Okay. And the second type is compulsory liquidation. This is where the company does not want to put their company into liquidation, but the creditors, those people that the company owes, actually went to the court to wind up the company because there are amount due to them. Okay. So that covers company liquidation, our first type of job which we are commonly involved in. Okay. And the second type is we call it receivership engagement. Receivership is where, for example, a company borrow money from the bank. Okay. When you borrow money, maybe I give you an example of hotel. A company borrow when they want to build a hotel, they will borrow money from the bank. And in return, the company normally will provide the hotel to the bank as a collateral, or we call it a charge. Okay. So what happens if the company cannot service its loan? So if they cannot service its loan, the bank can actually appoint a receiver to take over the hotel and sell it and pay the bank whatever money they are owed. Okay, that's for receivership. The third type of engagement we normally involve in are restructuring. Restructuring cases are where company is having cash flow issues to settle its debts. So they appoint an advisor, restructure its debt. The debts can be owing to the bank, can be owing to the creditor. So the reason for them to appoint an advisor is they hope that the company can turn around as a going concern and not end up in liquidation. So these are the three main ones that we commonly involve in. I can repeat. Number one is the company liquidation. Number two, receivership engagement. Number three, restructuring. Yeah.
Thanks, Leoh, for the very detailed explanation of what you do in your department. I myself have been in advisory, but because the fact that I'm not in your division, I honestly do not know what are the differences between liquidation, receivership, or restructuring. But Leoh, how about your roles and responsibilities? Maybe you can tell us further.
Okay, for this, I can share with the audience a very brief idea of what is our roles and responsibility in regard to the three types of engagement I've mentioned earlier. Okay, first one, for company liquidation cases, what will happen is when a liquidator is appointed, we will take control of the company, including its assets. And after that, we will initiate realization of the assets. In other words, we will sell the assets of the company. Okay, the assets can be properties, can be inventories, or it can be debt also, debt to be collected from the debtor. Okay, so we will proceed to recover all these assets, and once we have successfully realized all these assets, we will have a pool of money in the bank, in the company's account, and we will distribute it equally to all the creditors of the company based on the amount of debt owing to them. Equally, we call it pari passu basis. Okay, that's for liquidation cases. The second one, for receivership cases, is fairly similar to liquidation. The receiver will also take control of the company. They will also sell whatever assets charged to the bank. That means they have already given the assets to the bank as collateral. Okay, but the only the difference between receivership and liquidation is receivership is a surprise appointment. That means the banks actually can, based on the loan documentation that they have, they can actually appoint a receiver upon the creditor, the company defaulting in their payment. Okay, so it's a surprise appointment. So when we were appointed, or our bosses is appointed as the receiver, the company may still be in operation. So our role, we may still need to temporarily run the operations of the company while assessing its actual cash flow. Okay, and if the company, while we assess the cash flow, if the company can at least break even in their cash flow, we will try to continue their business. This is because while continuing their business, we will also sell their assets. And for example, if you take an hotel per se, a hotel with operation will fetch a higher value when we sell than a hotel without operation. So we will try as much as we can to maintain the operations of hotel while we proceed to sell the hotel and recover the debts owed to the bank. So once we have realized the assets, same thing. With the money we have, we will firstly pay off the bank first because the bank have charge. They are the priority. We will pay the bank first, and any surplus we will give it back to the company. That's for receivership. And the next one is the third one, restructuring cases. In restructuring cases, I'll just give you some example of what we do. We normally will be appointed by company in distress to help to perform a financial review. Some of them may want us to do a financial review for them to see what's their cost of their downturn of the company. Okay. At the same time, we will analyze the cash flow projections of the company, and based on the cash flow projection, we will come out with a restructuring scheme. We call it a restructuring scheme. Basically, it's a plan. It's a plan for the company how to repay back its debts, whether to the banks or to the creditors. So we will help to formulate a restructuring scheme for the company in restructuring cases. Okay, so that is what our roles in those three types of engagement. Okay, then some of you may actually ask, what in the type of work that we do, what are we guided by? Okay, we are actually guided by Companies Act 2016 and Winding Up Rules 1972. Okay, Companies Act 2016 is fairly new. The earlier Companies Act was actually 1965, and it was recently amended into Companies Act 2016 with some new acts and regulations. Okay. Since we touched on Companies Act 2016, maybe I can share with you a change that actually affect our professions as an insolvency practitioner. Okay. Earlier, in the 1965 version, Companies Act, in order for you to have a license, okay, before that, sorry, for liquidation and receivership cases, in order for the liquidator or receivers to be appointed, that person have to have a liquidator license. They have to possess a liquidator license before they can be appointed. Okay, so how do you get a liquidator license? Before this, in Companies Act 1965, in order for you to get a liquidator license, you need to hold a audit license. Okay, so but after that, we have the insolvency practitioner actually argued that it's a bit unfair on them because some of them have actually 10, 20 years experience, but they don't hold an audit license and they cannot go and apply for a liquidator license. So this was changed in the Companies Act 2016. The new rule says that, the new act says that as long as you are a member of a recognized professional body, in this instance, they listed MIA and MICBA to be a recognized professional body. So as long as you are a member and you have relevant experience, work experience, and then you can go for an exam and try to apply for a liquidator license. So this is one of the change that actually affect our profession positively.
Thank you, Leoh, for telling us that, because it's really unfair that if someone, a partner, a very experienced insolvency specialist, have 10 years, 20 years of experience and they cannot be the licensed liquidator, I don't think it's really fair for them that in such a way that we, in this industry, we need more liquidators and we have to restrict to must have audit experience. So thank goodness that it has changed. But Leoh, now that you explained to us on the differences of the three category, and perhaps this is a time that can you debunk the myth that you put up for us? A company in liquidation means that the director of the company will go bankrupt. Isn't this true?
Certainly no. A company is actually a separate legal entity from its director, and therefore, as a director, you are not automatically liable for his company's debt. Okay. However, you need to take note that if you have given personal guarantee to the creditor, then you will be personally liable for his debts. Okay, before that, I think just to answer Mr. Jan Yang question in the chat box, a company, maybe I wasn't clear enough, sorry. A liquidator that is appointed, they need to have a liquidator license, not the company. It's a personal appointment. For our case, that means once a liquidator is appointed, it's not BDO appointed, but rather our bosses, the licensed liquidator.
Datuk Gan lah.
Correct. For example, Dato Gan, he is appointed person in his personal capacity and not BDO. Yep, I hope that clarifies, Mr. Jan Yang. Yep.
That's great to know that if the company is into liquidation again, it doesn't affect the director. So okay, I think the next question I wanted to ask Leoh, I really wanted to ask this is, I heard a lot of stories from bosses, insolvency, because I'm just next door to you guys, right? What is the most challenging task you have done in this role?
Okay, the most challenging, I would say also interesting, depending how you look at it, is to run the operations of the company during a receivership engagement. Okay, because we will be involved when we are appointed. We'll be appointed. We cannot choose. It could be different kind of industry, so we need to understand how the company operate, and different industry operate differently. And one of the most challenging thing also we need to manage, because while running the operations of the company, we cannot run it on our own. We simply don't have enough resources to do that. So we need to rely on the existing employees. Okay, so we need to manage the staff, and while we assess their cash flow. So one unfortunate thing is, after we assess the cash flow, if the company do not have sufficient funds to continue with the operation, we got no choice but to terminate the staffs as well. So that is one of the more challenging things that we do.
Yeah, that is not an easy thing to do when you deal with people. Yes, for sure. Okay, to the audience that just joined, basically, welcome to a live with BDO. Today we have Leoh Hin Han, our Associate Director from Advisory, basically from the Insolvency Division, to share with us his experience. Okay, Hin Han, maybe you can share with us one best memory as well.
Okay, the better memories of most of our job when we did it was not so good memory, but the better memories ones are those companies that actually we managed to so-called source for white knife to take over the company. Okay, so for instance, we have a recent engagement. We were running operations, a receivership case in Malacca, my hometown, coincidentally in my hometown. So I was based in Malacca for quite some time, almost more than half a year, on and off, okay, while running the operation of the hotel in Malacca. While running, we actually tried, our ultimate objective is still to sell off the hotel, okay? But when we took control of the hotel, the staff, they were a bit worried. Most of them have not heard of receivership. So they were worried whether they will still continue to be in the job or will they be terminated from the job. So everyone was very confused. So we need to manage them, explain to them nicely that the role of the receivers. Okay. So at the same time, luckily for us, for the engagement, the director of the company is willing to pump in some money to sustain the operations, the director of the company. So we have enough money to actually sustain the hotel for more than a year. We were running the operations of the hotel for more than a year. Then subsequently, we go and source for buyer to buy the hotel. And we managed to get one party to take over the existing hotel with all the staff they will employ all the staff, they were existing staff. So we were kind of glad that the deal go through. The deal actually go through. We sell off the hotel to this party, and the party actually continued to operate hotel with all the existing employees. So by the end of the engagement, the employees were all a bit grateful for us also, to us for helping them during this time. So that was one of my better memories of cases that we are involved.
That's great to know. I mean, at the end of every job that we have, we want to bring back good memories that we have done. We have done something good. So it's good to hear that. I mean, not that the things that you see that not so good as well in your work, that that is not something that we can learn. So anyway, we have a question from Rosalind Gan. I'm curious to hear how's business how's business in the midst of pandemic? Is there more engagement for the department recently? What are the type of business that is affected mostly? Leoh, over to you.
Okay, actually, I think generally yes, we have more cases because all the major industry are currently dealing with this devastating effect of COVID, and this COVID actually affected revenue of almost all companies, and many companies are having cash flow issues due to this now. So we are busier as many companies have either closed down or actually seek for restructuring assistance. But however, that maybe I can touch a bit on, we do not have as much company liquidation for the compulsory liquidation. That means those creditors that actually goes to the court to wind you up. We have less cases because due to this COVID, the minister have actually issued an exemption order. Earlier, for you, if let's say a company owes you money, you can get a lawyer to serve a letter of demand on that company. Okay, a notice of demand, we call it. So they will have 21 days to pay off your debts. If they do not settle your debts within 21 days, and you can actually go to the court to liquidate the company. Okay, that's before. But after COVID, the minister actually amended it a bit to change the 21 days to 6 months. So even now, if someone actually owes you money, but you can still serve them the letter of demand, get a lawyer to serve them the letter of demand, but you cannot proceed to the court to wind up the company only after 6 months. So even you serve 6 months, say April, this year April, when COVID started, you can only wind up the company after 6 months. And that effect is actually based on the current exemption order is until 31st December 2020. So we have less cases on compulsory liquidation, and that will start to pick up, I think, early next year. Okay. But otherwise, the restructuring cases, we have quite a number of companies actually seeking our help to try to restructure its debts, to try to turn around the thing and not enter into a liquidation state.
Yeah.
So I hope that answers Rosalind's questions.
Yeah. Great. Hin Han, maybe before we end our session, maybe there's only one more question that I would like to ask you about is, are there any advice that you would like to give anyone who is keen to embark on a career in advisory?
I think if you ask me, we to have a good attitude. If you ask me an attribute of a person that's keen to embark in our department, I would say attitude is very important, because attitude is what influences all actions. If you have a positive attitude, you will look at everything positively, and vice versa. If you have a negative attitude, you will look at everything negatively. So if only with the right attitude will get us a good result. Okay. In terms of qualification, We have, of course, you have to be a graduate, but there is no specific qualification to join us. But preferably, if you have 1 or 2 years experience in audit, it will be preferred. And also for your own good, if you were to join us, our department, it's better for you to go and get a accounting professional paper. That is for future, because if you wish to have a liquidator license, you need to be a member of MIA or MICPA for that purpose. So I think that it's better for you to have a professional accounting paper. So my advice, as usual, will be focus on your exams, graduate with your good results, and submit your resume to Silfong.
Yeah, submit a resume, not to Silfong lah, to jobs@bdo.my, or you can visit our website as well, our career website under www.bdo.my. Anyway, thank you, Leoh, for this very insightful session. I trust all of us has gained a lot more insights into the world of insolvency, or rather a world for insolvency specialists like Hin Han. Before we end, as promised to you, we will be giving out prizes to 2 lucky winners who are not BDO employees. I'm so sorry for my fellow colleagues, you don't get anything, but you can participate. Of course, you can give us answer. Can you, of course, the rest of the people who are not BDO, please listen to the questions. Okay, Leoh, can you please share the 2 questions that you have in mind to our audience here today? Maybe the first question.
Okay, the first question, what are the 3 main areas which my department involved in? I repeat, what are the 3 main areas which my department involved in?
I know the answer.
Anyone?
1, 2, 3. That's the answer. 1, 2, 3. So, guys, please bring in the answer. I think we have highlighted at the beginning of this session. So, all right. So, how about the second question? We need 3,
Okay.
yeah? Majan Yang, I know you need 3. Tiga. The hint is tiga.
Okay, I think, yeah, Renu got a right answer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Congratulations, Renu, you got the answer. The answer is, Hin Han, the answer is?
Company liquidation, receivership, and the third one is restructuring.
Yeah.
Okay, so congratulations, Renu. So can I move on to the second question?
Yes, please.
Okay, which year was the Companies Act amended? The Companies Act 1965, which year was it amended recently?
It's 4 numbers. The answer, the hint is 4 numbers. Give your best shot 4 numbers. Your best 4 total numbers. I give you an answer, 1965.
Someone got the correct answer, most of them correct. I'm not sure which one is the first. Silvong, you got to check.
I think Renu is the first, but Renu already answered. Well, Renu, you are great. You really listen very intently. I have to applaud Renu, but Renu, since you already won the first prize, I have to give the prize to someone else. I believe will be the second person will be L Lim Peck. Sorry if I pronounce wrongly. You have the answer correct. So congratulations for Renu and L. Let me write down.
Congratulations.
And Lim lah, well, congratulations to Renu and Lim for being our lucky winners. We'll be in touch with you soon. Don't worry. My team will be in touch with you soon and will send out your prize. All right, it's 12:30. We have reached the end of the session. Woo! For me, thank you once again for tuning in today. Please do continue to tune in our last session, our finale, next Friday, 27 November from 12 p.m. on Video Malaysia Instagram. And guys, everyone, you'll be interested to know that is a topic that you all would love to know and the speaker that you would love to see. Who is he and what's the topic? It's a surprise. Look out, my hint is, look out for the poster on our social media platforms today. So thanks, Leoh. Thanks for a great time with you. I enjoyed my first Instagram Insta story live with you. Both of us is like totally new.
Yeah.
If Chinese call, Cantonese call, if you guys know Cantonese 手瓜有手腹, that means silly people have silly luck. I think we done it quite all right. But thank you so much, Leoh. Thank you for sharing. It's great to know everything from you. So guys, everyone, have a great day and a weekend ahead. Bye from video.